animal abuse should be legal. I forgot my sign, so I had to pop into Tesco and pick up a random piece of cardboard from a banana box and picked up a pen and just created this really quick makeshift sign. So let's see what people have to say. Let's see if people are consistent or hypocritical today. Yeah, obviously, because most people don't agree with the sign, but then also contribute towards animal abuse and exploitation themselves. So let's see what people have to say. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching the recording if you're watching the replay. And yeah, let's see what people have to say. Might not get that many people today. Hopefully we will. Hopefully there's lots of people that want to defend animal abuse. I feel like we're going to get some kids. There's some kids looking at it already. Got my spatula with my microphone. Make sure the camera's facing me properly. What do you think?
I think it should be illegal.
You think it should be illegal?
Yeah.
So what would you define animal abuse as?
When you animal testing for hurting animals.
Animal testing and hurting animals, yeah?
Yeah.
So do you feel like you don't contribute towards any animal abuse at all?
No, you shouldn't.
But do you guys contribute towards it at all?
No.
No. So you guys are vegan? No, because I'm just checking your consistency.
What?
So do you eat animals? Do you wear their skin? Do you pay for them to go into slaughterhouses? Yeah. So I'm just here trying to get people aligning their morals with their actions, because most people say that they're against animal abuse and animal exploitation, but they contribute towards it themselves. So how do you guys feel about that?
I think it should be, yeah.
You think it should be illegal?
Yeah, well, we keep they're going to slaughter, so...
Yeah. So would you say that going to slaughter is classed as abuse?
Yeah, it is.
It's not?
They hurt their animals. They do.
Why would you not? Okay, so this is why I'm asking. Why would you not say it's classed as abuse, animals being slaughtered?
Okay.
Because they get done so quickly, they live forever. That's still abuse, though.
So if I were to kill you quickly, would it not be classed as abuse?
I'm not getting hurt. I'm just like that. You are.
So it would be fine. So killing is fine as long as it doesn't hurt.
Well, no, but...
So why do we apply this logic to animals but not to us? Or to other animals? Because do you guys agree that you are an animal and I'm an animal?
Yeah.
That we're all animals? Yeah? So why do we apply that logic to other animals and not to humans?
Because that's a type.
I'm meant to be in set 2.
I'm set 2, but it's only a man.
Do you get what I mean? Do you know the definition of veganism? Do you know what veganism means?
Where you don't eat any products from animals.
Yeah, so that's part of it, because a lot of people think that it's just a diet, which I used to think it was as well, but it's actually the stance against all forms of animal exploitation. So it's the principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. So, have you heard of the documentary called Dominion? Yeah, it's a documentary on YouTube, and it basically just explains all the different animals that we exploit for our own benefit. So it might be something for you guys to watch. Yeah. Is there anything that's stopping you from being vegan?
Yeah.
I like cheese.
You like cheese. So does taste pleasure justify exploitation and murder of others?
like not killing the animal to get like.
Or dairy cows get slaughtered as well. They get killed as well. I've seen them with my own eyes. I've been to a slaughterhouse myself, and they're all dairy cows, and they get killed. But also, do you know what happens to a dairy cow for them to? Do you understand like the dairy cow sort of process and what happens to her?
No.
I'm not interrogating you. I'm just because I never understood this as well. And when I was your age, I wish somebody had told me this. So dairy cows are forcibly impregnated. So the farmer puts their arm up her anus and injects semen into the lining of her uterus to impregnate her. And then after 9 months of her baby's taken away so that we can drink her breast milk. Does that sound normal? And like something that we should be doing?
I work on a farm.
Okay, yeah. So what? All of the dairy cows are impregnated with the bulls. Every single one of them. How many? What percentage?
I can't tell you the percentage. I don't know the percentage.
Yeah, but the majority of them are though.
Not through the 80s. You get a cow to.
But you do use AI though.
AI.
Yeah, artificial insemination.
Well, yeah, occasionally, but mainly it's just using bulls.
Okay, so
I guess
if
it's more natural than.
yeah. So you're saying that makes it okay?
Well, I guess it makes it more okay than the other.
Yeah, but does it make it okay?
It's natural.
It's nature. So if I were to lock you in a room with a man who you didn't know and then made him impregnate you, and then once you were pregnant, once you had your baby,
Learning about life.
you gave birth to your baby, then that baby was taken away, would that be okay? Because it's nature. Would it be okay or not?
Well, it depends. Like some farms do that, some farms don't.
For me, it's a bit like you're describing apples and pears, right?
Pardon?
You're describing apples and pears.
I can't hear you very well. Do you want to come a bit closer if you want to be involved in the conversation?
I thought the sign was about animal abuse being legal, which is why I was a bit confused.
Yeah, so I'm
sorry.
obviously just holding this sign to get people's attention and to attract
Yeah,
people in.
makes sense. Makes sense. But yeah, I mean, the way that you're saying it is that you're talking to someone who knows more consciously what is happening.
Right.
So it's hard to say that, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard for us to describe it on the same level
Yeah.
because the cow doesn't know what's going on. Also, at some stage, it is natural for a cow to, like many animals, it's natural for the young to leave the parents.
Yeah. Okay.
So, in the way that you're saying, it's like putting the time span in the same time frame, right? So if you say, oh well, that calf is a year old, okay, but a year-old baby isn't the same as a year-old calf.
Yeah. Okay, so are you saying that because they've not got quite the cognitive ability like us, so they don't understand that when the baby leaves, so you know that like 90% of the time they take the calf away after a few hours to a few days. That's the majority of the cows.
I don't know about that.
Okay, but even
I genuinely
still,
don't know that.
yeah, but I'm telling you that's the statistic. But even still, even if the baby did stay with their mother for a year and then they were taken away,
Yeah.
so you're trying to say the justification is because they maybe don't have as much sort of cognitive ability as humans. So say for example, if a disabled person or somebody who didn't have as much cognitive ability as you had a baby and didn't understand that baby was being taken away, would it be okay to take that baby away?
No, because once again, you're describing it from a completely different standpoint.
Yeah, but that's your justification then.
No. What I'm saying is that you're talking about an animal who doesn't have the same understanding of the world that we do, right? So it's like saying, do you wear shoes? Will you accidentally step on an ant? Is that the same reason of you never walking?
But does that justify the rape, torture and murder of these animals though?
No, but what I'm saying is that you could use that theory in anywhere, right? So active pollination, so we're causing more pollinating, which causes more. So you could say that about anything, right? Because if you drive anyone, anything, right? Because anyone does certain damage to the environment regardless.
Yeah.
So it's all about okay, what is your understanding of the environment? What is your understanding of your impact on a global scale?
Right.
So technically, we're all doing damage, right?
Right.
So that does.
So you're saying
where does it stop? Is what I'm saying. So if you're saying that, is it right to do that? Well, my understanding of the world is completely different to a cow, right?
Right. But like I just said, somebody who might not necessarily be as aware of you, so somebody who's maybe got a mental health problem, who's not as aware as you, if that's your justification, is that because they're maybe not as aware, like we know that they're sentient, maybe because they're not as aware, does that make it okay? Because if that's the justification that you're using.
Yeah, no, so my point is that you're talking about a fully aware cow to a fully aware human.
Yeah.
Right? So the same thought process doesn't go into stuff that it does for a cow.
But does it matter? Because they're still sentient and they can still feel pain and pleasure and happiness.
So answer
and
your own
sadness.
question. So does a person who has extreme autism, are they the same intelligence as a cow?
But intelligence
No,
doesn't...
but I'm asking you because you're asking me if they're cognitively impaired. So if they are extremely autistic, are they smarter than a cow?
It doesn't matter
No,
intelligence.
but
But you're not letting me answer. You're not
Okay,
letting me answer.
okay.
You
Sorry,
keep
sorry.
talking. You want to have a debate and a conversation, but you're not actually letting me answer.
I apologise.
You've spoken about 90% so far.
I apologise.
So it's not about intelligence, it's about sentience. I don't believe that we should kill or exploit anyone who's sentient. So that includes insects, all species, cows, pigs, chickens, humans, all species. I don't think that we should exploit anyone for our own benefit. It doesn't matter the level of intelligence because they're sentient. So let me ask you, what would be stopping you from living vegan today?
I was actually vegan.
Right, okay.
And I stopped being vegan.
Okay, so were you vegan as in like you stopped wearing leather, you never went to views, like you completely...
Extreme vegan,
I don't believe that there's any way of extremely not exploiting other animals, but I don't believe that you can be vegan and then go back because you obviously didn't fully understand and make the connection with the animals, because you can't fully make that connection and then go back to doing it. So I'm wondering if you were maybe just on a plant-based diet, maybe like a couple of other things, maybe you didn't buy. How long were you vegan for?
For about 2 years.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So within that 2 years, you didn't exploit animals for anything? You didn't buy any leather, nothing with down in it, you didn't go to any aquariums or zoos, anything like that? Okay, so what happened? Why did you go back to exploiting animals?
It's a good question. I don't view it as exploiting animals.
But that's the definition of veganism though, so that's why I don't think that you were vegan.
But once again, is that I stopped being vegan. And
but you just said that you don't see it as not exploiting animals. That is the definition of
me
veganism.
now isn't exploiting animals. So,
Right,
so
okay.
my view on me now isn't that I
Okay, so what do you believe that you were doing when you were vegan?
Well, I actually became vegan because I thought it was healthier.
No, what were you doing when you were vegan? If you think that now you're not vegan, you don't see it as exploiting animals. When you were vegan, what did you see it as?
So I only did it for a health basis.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I mean. You didn't connect with the animals. You weren't doing it for the animals. Veganism is the stance against all forms of animal exploitation. It's not health or environment. Those are just benefits.
Okay.
So that's why I don't believe that you're embodying veganism.
I don't know that.
Okay.
Which is fair.
So how come you stopped being on a plant-based diet?
Because of my health.
Right.
So I started becoming really unwell, and I went to the doctors, and they said, "Yeah, you're missing." They said, "What's changed in the last couple of years?"
Right.
Because I started going to monthly blood tests, and they were like, "There's something really wrong here. What's happened?" And I told them, and I said, basically, I've changed my whole lifestyle, and now on a vegan-based diet. And they said, that's a bad thing. Like, he said from his personal opinion, which is fair.
Do you think if you'd have gone to a plant-based or a vegan dietitian, they might have been able to help you?
I mean, possibly, but it's.
Because just because I've known multiple dietitians, like qualified dietitians, because we all know that NHS doctors don't really know that much about nutrition. To be fair, because would you agree with that?
I mean,
Like,
I
for my
personally
first-
wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, so for my first 20 years of
personally
life,
wouldn't.
I was going for treatment for psoriasis at the doctors, and nobody ever told me ever that it could be because I'm drinking baby cow's milk. That isn't meant for the human body. So, like, most people would agree that in general, doctors don't have that much training in nutrition. So if you'd have gone to a plant-based or a vegan dietitian, like I said, from my experience, I've spoken to many of them, and none of them have met somebody who needs to eat animal flesh and their secretions to be healthy. You can actually construct your diet, and I even know a dietitian who's vegan, who's celiac, for example. Like, there's multiple people with conditions,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
right?
So,
who are vegan.
So for example, I'm now gluten intolerant.
Yeah, so I
So-
know a few people who are gluten intolerant who are vegan as well.
And this is
Yeah.
it. So I think personally it could have all been related separately, right? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's good that you're
but
admitting
it's
to
hard.
that as well, and that you're
Absolutely,
open to that.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing is that I'm open to anything. As I say, I thought the sign was about animal abuse. I'm not open to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But,
But I think
but
that sending
food-wise-
animals to slaughter to be murdered is animal
I
abuse.
I do understand why that is, and to be fair, I think under some conditions it should be banned or more tight restricted. But you're trusting someone to do that. Right?
Right.
You're trusting someone else to
Yeah.
do that, and that's my worry is that
It's just that all I know is that, like I said, veganism isn't about health and it's not about the environment, but I've never felt healthier since I've gone on a full plant-based diet, and taking that into consideration, and pretty much like everyone I know who is vegan, in fact everyone who I know is vegan, is very, very healthy, especially because of the amount of fruit and veg that we do eat.
But that
Like,
is-
for me, would we not want to bring up our children into the world not thinking that it's normal, necessary and okay to exploit animals?
as I say, the word exploit is different, right?
What does
So-
exploitation mean to you then?
Okay. So are you exploiting humans by having a phone? Are you
But I'm asking you, what's the definition of exploitation to you?
The thing is that there's many.
Why
there's
can't you
many
answer that question?
Because there's many variations, right? So how do you?
There's
mean
not
by
many
exploit?
variations.
How do you mean by exploit?
There's a dictionary definition of
Okay.
exploitation.
Yep.
It's using someone else for your benefit.
Okay. So someone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would you not say that animals are someone?
A person, a human,
No, someone as in sentient.
as in a living being. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course
Yeah.
they are.
Okay, so you probably agree that they can be exploited then.
As much as anyone else can.
Yeah.
As much as anything else is.
Or anyone else, because I don't believe that you
Anything
can
else.
exploit a pencil because they're not sentient.
Okay.
I believe that you can
Okay.
exploit a cow, you can exploit a
Okay.
human because we're all animals.
Okay. Any creature
Okay.
could be
Yeah.
exploited. Yeah.
Right. So going back to the exploitation point,
Mhm.
why do you believe that we shouldn't be? I mean, why can't you live without exploiting animals? So if we're on the same page with exploitation, so you think it's because of health,
Yeah.
basically?
Yep.
So you think it's so? For example, if
Health due to the fact that I was living on a plant-based diet. I now have been told by a doctor, and as much as you might say that they're not nutritionally trained, they are doctors, right? They are trained to help people be healthy.
okay, but would you say
So-
that? Okay, I agree that obviously they're health professionals.
Yeah.
But would you say that a dietitian is more qualified in nutrition than a doctor?
No.
You don't think that a dietitian is more qualified in nutrition than a doctor, than an NHS GP?
Would I trust a dietitian over a general practitioner? No.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's where we differ a lot then.
Fair enough.
And that's obviously,
It's
you know,
okay.
your...
It's okay
your
to differ.
Yeah, but I just like, I would rather go to, I mean, I think most people would agree that, I mean, it's not even opinion, like a dietitian is definitely more qualified in nutrition than a GP, NHS doctor.
Maybe.
So it's not really
Maybe.
my opinion.
Well,
They are
the
100%
thing-
are.
the thing
So
is
I
is
would
that-
rather take
is
my
that-
advice from a dietitian
Sure,
than.
but the issues that I had were medical.
Okay, let's stick with that then. The issues that you had were medical, so the
Yeah.
reason you're not vegan anymore
you
is medical.
So you go
Medical.
to a doctor for medicine and medical reasons. Right?
Yeah,
And that's what I did.
but you go to dietitians for medical issues as well.
No, I would. Why?
If you're having a gut issue and
Yeah.
you have a feeling that it's related to food, which you just said it was because of what you were eating, you would go to a dietitian.
Well, the thing is that wasn't the reason that I went to the doctor. The reason that I went to the doctor was because of health issues.
Yeah,
The
but
health
a
issues
gut
were
issue
then-
is, I was just using that as an
There's the-
example.
Yeah, but-
a gut
but-
issue
but-
is a health issue.
Would you go to a dietitian for a blood test?
Absolutely. Dietitians do
I-
blood
I-
tests all the time.
Okay. Well, if they do, then great. But
They do.
I would.
Nutritionists,
prefer
highly
to-
qualified
I would-
nutritionists do
I
blood
would
tests.
prefer to go to a doctor.
Okay, that's completely
Which
up
is
to you. So, you're saying that health is the only reason why you still exploit animals, yeah?
So health is the only reason that I went back to eating meat. Yeah.
Right? So you don't exploit animals in any other area of your life still? So you never buy leather or anything with down in
not
it?
as much as everyone else. you
Yeah,
know?
but I'm asking you, do you
Okay.
still buy animal products that isn't just food? Because if you're saying
Okay.
that it's just because of health,
Sure, but
then and you physically cannot be vegan because
Soy-
of your health.
soy
Can I
farms,
finish speaking?
deforest-
Can I finish speaking? That's your justification. It's health. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Right. Your
Okay.
number one justification is health. Why you can't stop exploiting animals. So why
I
are
don't
you
agree
still?
with that terminology. So you can.
You're
you
still
can give me
using
some
animals
advice.
for your own benefit, then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the reason you're
If
still
that's-
using animals for your
Yeah.
own benefit
Yeah.
is because of health. So why are you still using animals for your own benefit in other areas of your life, such as their skin, their fur, their
Okay.
entertainment, their bodies, other areas? Because if you can't be vegan just because of your health, then you can
Right.
not exploit other animals. So my point is,
So what? So I should give up my health. I should give up my health.
no, I'm
to-
trying
to
to
not
prove
exploit-
that you're just using health as an excuse.
No.
Because otherwise you would be not exploiting other animals in other areas of your life as well.
Once again, the word exploit, you use that a lot, which is fine.
Using
But
someone
I
else for
disagree.
your own benefit. No, you can't disagree
I do-
with
I do
something
disagree.
that's an
Of course I can.
official
Of course I can.
definition.
Of course I
Okay,
can.
you disagree with it, that's
Of course I
fine.
can.
Exploitation
You
is
dis-
using someone else for your own
Yeah,
benefit.
Yeah.
Right?
If you disagree with me eating meat for a medical reason,
This
you're
isn't
allowed
just
to
about
disagree.
meat. This isn't just about meat though.
Sure it is.
This is all forms of
No, but
animal
that's what I'm talking
exploitation.
about.
Yes, and you're
Sure.
saying that you eat meat, you
Yeah.
eat animal products
Yeah.
because of your health.
Yeah.
So take meat aside, take the flesh aside, because
Yeah.
that's for your health.
Yeah.
Why are you still using animals in other areas of your life?
Like
if it's
what?
just because
Like
of
what?
health. Leather?
I don't wear leather.
You never buy leather?
No.
Okay. Down?
No.
Nothing. So you don't use animals at all?
No.
So if it was just because so you don't, what about dairy, honey, eggs, all of those things as well?
So dairy is limited depending on where we are. To be fair, if we're on holiday or something, and they
your
don't have,
partner?
yeah, it is, yeah. And so yeah, sometimes.
Okay. So why don't you just eliminate all the other bits apart from the flesh? If that's
Okay,
your,
but-
if it's because of health.
So soy farms deforestize, yeah. So what about deforestation? That
Do you know where
injures-
most of the soy goes?
injures-
Only 4% of the soy
much?
goes for human consumption.
So what do you eat on a daily basis?
As in, you want me to go through breakfast, lunch, and
No,
dinner?
no, no. Just an average on.
You
on
mean
what
like
type?
protein replacement?
Yeah.
Soya beans?
Is that UK? Is that UK based?
Or if you're talking about the environment now, right?
Because what we're talking is a generalisation of everything.
Okay.
So you're saying why can't I not wear a leather belt, right? I don't wear a leather belt, to clarify,
Right.
but you're saying why can't I? Okay, so why can't you buy locally?
But that's going off the point. I'm here speaking up for the
Yeah, the same
animals. No, it's not. You're talking about environment. I'm speaking about the animals.
Okay.
I'm not interested. I'm not here. Like, I don't want to waste my time talking about the environment. You've approached
Okay.
me, and it's good that you're
I
open
approached
to
you
have
on a false sign.
Pardon?
On a false
Yeah,
sign.
yeah, no, that's
right?
fine because I want to see
So-
people's consistency.
Well,
like whether
I
people
think-
are consistent or
everyone
not.
disagrees with animal abuse.
Yeah, but everyone contributes. Most people contribute towards it.
To what you would say is animal abuse.
Okay, that's fine. I think maybe we've finished with this conversation because
Have a
you're
good
obviously not that open to not exploiting animals anymore. Thank you very much. See you later. swarmed by children now as well, which is
And Danny's a very political person.
I like eating chicken and beef.
I love
I was gonna ask about the whole breeding.
Do you want to come a bit closer because I can't actually hear you that much and I feel like there's lots of people around me.
Can you talk about what you said about calving at the start before that man interrupted?
Do you work on a dairy farm? Like, is it your parents that own it, or is it
No, but
you just work on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like you've got like obviously you work there, so you get an income from it, but you don't have huge amounts of investment in it, for example. Because I just wanted to know your position.
So basically, my dad lives in the Lizard and a bunch of fields everywhere, and I work
Yeah.
on a dairy farm there on the weekends.
But so does your dad work on a farm?
No.
No. So your dad's got nothing to do with the farm?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So go on, what was your question?
Well, you were just talking about how the breeding of them is with the hand up the ass, I think.
Yeah.
But I was just saying that's sort of like cherry picking, and it depends what farm you're looking at when
Yeah.
you're talking about
Yeah.
that. You can't always use it as a base because it's not 100% factual.
Yeah.
Because like on the farm that I work on,
Yeah.
you have the different cows that are used for dairy. They're kept in the field,
Right.
and then you rent the bull for like 3 days, put them in the field with them,
Yeah.
leave them there for 3 days,
Yeah.
and then you take them back out, and by the end of that 3 days, most of them are pregnant.
Okay.
And then you have the calves, and the calves stay with their mums when they grow up. So it
Right.
depends what farm you're working on to have that point.
How long do they stay with their mums?
Well, for most of their lives, if they're going to be kept at the farm, or if they're sold, they'll be in as adults by the time they're sold.
Okay, so but do your dairy cows get sent to be killed when they're too weak?
Too weak.
Too weak, so they're not producing milk anymore, or so their
No.
body's starting to collapse.
No.
So all
They
of the
usually just
dairy
retire,
cows
or
on
if they're
your
too ill, they'll be shot.
yeah. So if they're tired or ill, then they'll be shot.
Well, if they're too ill, yeah, as in
Yeah.
like it's causing them pain to live.
Right. So so your justification is that the cows they basically live out their whole natural life until they're too tired or unwell,
Not too
and then
tired.
they're shot.
Obviously, if they're too tired, then they can just die of natural causes, which is
Right.
like normal. But if they're too ill, then yeah, they
I'd
will
really
die.
love to come to this farm because do you see all this happening? Or have you been
What
told?
do you mean?
Like
Like-
the babies staying with their mothers for their whole lives, and
Yeah,
then
obviously, I see it all the time when I'm just
yeah, it's just like very, very, very rare. So I'd really love to come to that farm. But even still, like say I do believe you, which like I don't think that you're purposely being dishonest, but I just believe that we're all literally brainwashed to believe these things and like to think it's normal, but it's not. So even if that was the case, if you were in one of those cows' position, or if you had a female friend, for example, who was in her position,
Yeah.
because I think it's quite hard when you're a different sex to put yourself into that position, would you think it was okay to put your female friend into a room with a man so that he then impregnates her, and then when she has her baby, whether the baby stays with her or not, to then attach her nipples to machines and start pumping her milk from her to sell it, would
Yeah.
you think that was classed as okay?
well, not for humans, but in the wild. Well, I guess there's not many wild cows anymore.
What we
But
do to,
obviously-
yeah, but do you really think that what we do to animals is the same as what happens in the wild?
Well, not as in milking.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Where
not,
we
that's
milk,
not
we
what
use our
happens.
hands. We don't have machines. But,
Yeah, it's
like,
not what happens in the wild though. An appeal
yeah,
to
calves,
nature.
calves actually. But
Of course, yeah. So
I'm
not.
talking about, you said like they're put in a room in force. Well, that's going to happen in nature anyway. Of course,
Yeah, but
of course cows are going to be impregnated by
Yes,
bulls in nature.
I know, but in nature, if you're using nature as the argument, then leave the cows to it. Let them be with their babies and don't start stealing their milk. That isn't nature to start taking the milk from another species. That's not nature.
Yeah, but they can also get ill if they aren't milking all the time.
Yeah, but what about just don't let her get impregnated then? Or don't, most farms do use AI.
What's the point of having cows if you
But you know that the reason why we need to milk some cows is because we've selectively bred them so much to the point where they produce too much milk. So it's almost like a fireman setting a fire and going, oh, I know, I'm going to save the day by going to put that fire out. Like it's somebody causing a problem and then pretending that they're the solution. Why can't we just leave them alone life.
What do you mean?
Like, just leave them be. So if we
As
stop,
in, like, we don't own them.
yeah, so we stop breeding them into existence.
Well, that's not the point of farming then, isn't it?
I don't, yeah, but we don't need to do animal farming. We can farm crops. Farmers can earn money from crops.
Your average people need meat though.
No, they don't. I'm healthy, living absolutely fine.
I'm
I go
not-
to the gym every
I'm not
day.
denying that, but it's other people's choice to eat meat.
It's
And
not a
it is-
personal
it is
choice
healthy,
when
but-
there's a victim involved.
Sorry about that. It's,
Sorry? What?
I said sorry about them shouting.
Oh, no, it's
like,
fine. It's all right.
It is natural in our diet. I guess, like, obviously not for you, but for most people, it's natural for us to eat meat. And we
would
have done
only-
since we were like monkeys.
This is what everyone says. We've always done it, but if you know that we don't need to, would you admit that you can be healthy on a full plant-based diet?
I don't think you can be the healthiest you can be on a plant-based diet. You can still like live and be able to do things. You know,
Okay, so there are actually studies done in athletes where there's absolutely no difference between people on a plant-based diet and on an animal product diet. So one, it's scientific proof, but also there's top athletes out there. There's strongmen, for example, like one of Britain's strongmen earlier this year won in his category, and he was vegan. So it's not only scientific, it's scientifically proven. But also, there's living proof. Like, I go to the gym every single day. I either do yoga or go to the gym every day with one rest day. And I'm perfectly happy, perfectly healthy. So because we don't need to do it, it's about waking up and, like, getting with the times. Because, yes, we've always done a lot of things, but there's always been, there's been things done in the past, like human slavery. Women weren't allowed to vote, but we changed and got with the times.
would you say that meat is like less, I guess, produced than, like, I can't remember the word, but more than like the plant-based products, for example, like vegan stuff.
So I don't know what your question is. What was your question?
Would you say that it's like more natural to eat meat then?
Yeah, but so rather than you being like fake meat. Quite loud.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, so you mean like mock meats, for example? Are you trying to say that real meat is more healthy than mock meats?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's actual research done now to say that they're actually the same because of all of it. And I know that you're going to start saying that yours is like a local small farm and like they don't get pumped with antibiotics and all that kind of stuff, but the majority do. When someone goes to a supermarket and buys any animal products, there's so much crap in there. So it's actually scientifically proven that even the mock meats are as healthy as a real flesh. Like, I don't like calling it meat because to me that's just a marketing term. It's someone's flesh. Whereas I'm on a fully whole foods plant-based diet, so I don't eat any mock meats or anything like that. So I eat tofu, seitan, soybeans, tempeh, all fruit and veg, pasta, rice, like whole foods plant-based, and that is really, really healthy. Like I said, there are vegan athletes out there who are on a plant-based diet who are really quite healthy. So other than you working on a dairy farm, what would stop you personally from living vegan today?
Probably just like my lifestyle over time and the fact that I just think the consumption of specifically red meat, maybe not the chicken. Chicken's more like just for protein in it. But like for red meats, I think they're extremely healthy.
It's healthy. Red meat. You need to do a bit of research because it's now coming out that red meat is a carcinogen.
Yeah, but it's
Red
also
meat is now
full
classed
of
as
protein and,
carcinogenic.
like,
But it's cancerous. Red meat is, and you know that ham and bacon is as carcinogenic as smoking and asbestos.
sorry.
That's all right. I'm not involved in what they're doing.
Me neither.
Yeah, so like just for you, because these things are hidden from us and nobody actually knows about these things, and we're made to believe that that's the healthiest thing to do, but actually red meat is carcinogenic. Like honestly, because you probably don't believe me, which is fine. I know that you probably think that I'm being biased.
You're not going to debate and not have actual facts.
But yeah, red meat is carcinogenic, but even still, does that justify exploiting and murdering innocent animals when we don't need to?
Obviously not the exploitation.
Yeah.
But I think that farming should be done naturally and like safer for the animals.
But again, if there was, you know that people used to say that about human slaves as well.
Say that again, sorry.
People used to say that about human slaves, that, oh, I gave them a really good life. but I still had them enslaved. Can you really give a slave a good life? Because we're using them. We're using them for our
They die in the
benefit.
wild anyway.
Pardon?
Because, like, for example, cows.
Yeah, but humans
also
would
get
die.
hunted.
Yeah, but humans would die anyway. We don't go around killing them and using them for our benefit just because they're going to die.
Yeah, but
Do you
like,
agree?
Yeah, but my point is that in the wild they're going to be hunted like wolves, things like that anywhere. So like, what's the difference if we eat them instead of like animals like that?
Okay, so again, it's an appeal to nature fallacy because you're basically basing your morals on what happens in nature. So, for example, it's similar to saying lions eat meat. Yeah, it's similar to that. But lions also rape each other. We don't base our morals on what happens in nature because then we would have to get rid of the whole justice system. Like some humans would want to rape each other and murder each other, but there's a justice system to say that that's not allowed. Do you get what I mean? So basing our morals on what happens in nature is a non-argument because you don't act like a lion in any other areas of your life.
Yeah, but diet is completely different, like how we treat our body as well. It's different than like morals and things like that.
But why is it different? I can't hear you or see you that much. I feel like you're like hid behind a...
But I don't really get your point. Sorry, I was getting...
Yeah, no, so I'm just wanting to know what would be stopping you from living vegan.
Yeah.
And you said because you like eating red meat for protein, but you understand that you can get protein from other plant sources. Yeah. So is it like taste pleasure then? Because you like the taste?
Yeah.
So is taste pleasure a justification to exploit and murder living beings?
No, obviously not.
That's why I'm trying to get...
If they saw us, they'd eat us. So why can't
Did
we
you
eat
hear
them?
what I just said about basing your morals on what happens in nature?
Yeah, but they don't have morals not to eat us.
Yeah, but you don't act like a lion in any other area of your life. Okay.
Sorry.
Right. I feel like I'm only willing to have like a semi-reasonable conversation if people are getting ridiculous.
Some people act like animals.
Yeah, and there's a justice system that says that they shouldn't do it.
Isn't animal abuse illegal anyway? There's like...
Well, it's not legal when they're being sent to slaughterhouses and being murdered where they don't need to be, when we don't need to.
Do you think it's illegal? Do you think it should be illegal or it should be legal?
Obviously, I think we shouldn't exploit and abuse animals at all.
I just say if you were on an island and you didn't have any food, would you kill an animal to eat? Or would you
But you're not in a survival situation though.
Yeah, but imagine if you were.
Probably, but I'm not in a survival situation.
You'd still eat an animal.
Yeah, but I'm not in a survival situation, so I don't need to.
But realistically,
But there's not a justification. I would also eat another human if I had to. If there was a dead human on the... But the point is, I don't need to because there's other options.
yeah, well, that was just next level eating.
Yeah, but if animals eat us and we eat animals, but like I get that. But it's like talking about Danny's point, taste pleasure. Animals eat us for taste pleasure because they need their protein and they need their food.
How old are you?
16.
Okay, that's fine then. I just don't want you to be... I'm on YouTube Live.
But obviously, if they're doing taste pleasure, animals will come and eat us. If they were roaming like bears and lions are running around, they'd come and eat us.
Yeah, but like I just said, you can't use what happens in nature to define your morals. So you don't act like a bear or a lion in any other... You know that lions rape each other in the wild?
Yeah, and we have humans who rape each other.
Yeah, and that's not legal.
That's an instant.
I'm saying it's not... It shouldn't be legal what we do to...
No, it is.
It shouldn't be legal what we do to animals.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So I believe that animals should have rights to protect them. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but they don't have a system. Animals don't have a system.
We
to
murder
do that to
animals
us.
for our own pleasure. Animals don't have rights. That's why I'm stood here.
Yeah, but they were bad enough. But we've got we get into
I don't want to keep saying this again. Like I've said it over and over again. You're not a lion.
So if an animal
You're not in the
attacks you,
wild.
If an animal attacks you, you wouldn't kill it or attack it back.
Well, first of all, I don't call them it because they're not a pencil or a pen. They're a living being. So they. It's a man or a woman, or if I don't know the sex, then it's a they are a they. Sorry?
That doesn't go through the head. It's just
Yeah, but
female
we've
or
got
male,
different
yeah.
genders now, so we can't assume genders.
It's just so that's why I put it there.
Yeah, but you wouldn't call a human it that you. So, say for example, you saw that person over there in the distance, and you could just about make them out, but you didn't. I'm just giving you an example. You saw them in the distance, but you didn't know if they were male or female. You wouldn't call them it. You would say that. You would say they. No, I would never call an animal the it because they're not an inanimate object. They are a they, or a man, or a male or
Yeah, but
female.
If we
would
get
you agree
punished
that
for
we-
killing other animals, why don't they get punished for killing us? Because they go and eat us.
Because we don't base our morals. Do you know what morals are?
Yes, I know.
Yes. Yes, because we don't make. So we don't have rape as being illegal, even though lions still rape each other. Like we don't say, oh yeah, let's have our whole justice system based on what lions do. Do you get what I mean? So why
Yeah, but they
would
have
we do
completely
it the
different
same with
bodies,
killing?
and completely different hormones, and completely different brains.
I know they do.
Yeah,
that
but
doesn't
we
mean that
have
we
so
should
much higher
exploit
level
them.
of cognitive understanding in our brain. That,
We have like a high capacity of suffering to animals. So
How do you know?
because that's
he
what my
goes
science
Nexus.
teacher. Yeah, I'll go Nexus.
He's a Nexus
yeah,
person, so we're
bro,
really smart.
You guys are making bad points, and it's just ruining the argument.
Because I don't believe that unless an animal has told you themselves that they don't suffer as much as you.
Yeah,
or
but
they
we can
don't
tell
feel
from like
pain
brain
as much as you.
patterns and like looking over like multiple studies.
Okay, so if there was a human that couldn't feel pain or suffering as much as you because you're more cognitively aware or more intelligent, let's just say, or whatever, if there was a human who couldn't feel suffering as much as you, would it be okay to exploit and murder them?
No, but
But if that's your justification, then you need to stay consistent. Do you get what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
not a
but-
justification.
Yeah, where's Ellie?
just saying, just animals.
Because there is no justification to not live vegan. There is no real justification to not stop exploiting animals. I believe that everyone should live without exploiting animals. Right, are you all done? I'll speak to someone else. Did you want to ask one more thing? Because I've asked what's stopping you.
Danny doesn't, he's done now. What does your thing
Watch Dominion on YouTube. There's a documentary called, I'm not speaking to you. Yeah, but you're just being sarcastic. Watch Dominion on YouTube because it explains what we do to all different animals and it just helps.
Yeah, we watch stuff in RP exam and in school. We watch loads of clips about it, but it's also
Yeah, but
people's
you get
diet.
taught in school what they want you to teach you.
It's hard though, because if people have diseases and if they're ill, then they need more protein. It's better to get it from meat.
It's not. That's what they want you to believe. You're brainwashed in the system. I wish somebody had told me. How old are you?
14.
I wish somebody told me at 14 years old this because I realised only about 8 months ago what I had been paying for to have happen to animals, and it was the most horrific thing. Yes, but then I realised that I didn't need to. This whole time I've been doing it and I didn't need to. I wish somebody, a 33-year-old, had come up to me at 14 years old and told me all of this because I've been brainwashed for so long thinking, just like you said, that we need to eat other animals' flesh to be healthy, but we don't. I live off like things like tofu, seitan, soybeans, chickpeas, falafel, all of those, like a variety, and I'm so healthy and like really strong. Would you not agree that you can live healthily on a plant-based diet? Yeah.
Yeah, people do it. People do it for anything.
Yeah.
But it's hard because of the amount of people that do it. Changing one person isn't gonna.
I know, but that's what we used to say about human slavery as well, and all the other justice movements that have happened. It only takes the minority to stand up, the minority who actually care about others, to stand up and say this is not okay, we should start changing things. And this is why I'm stood here, trying to get people to understand that we don't need to contribute to this. You get what I mean? Like, are you against, for example, men discriminating against women, or people discriminating against brown and black people, and all of those other social justice things that have happened in the past? It only took the minority for people to stand up, and just because we've always done it, or just because everyone else does it, does that make it okay? Yeah. So what would stop you from living vegan from today?
I'd say just because.
Other than social pressure, if none of these people were stood here, just visualise just you and me stood here right now, what would your honest answer be? What would stop you from living vegan today?
taste and
Yeah.
family diets and people who are sick in my family.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's medication that I take which has got animal stuff in it which
Yeah.
I need to live.
Yeah, so for example with that, like if you had to take that medication and it had animal, like bits of animal products in it, you could technically still live vegan if you were having to do it for your health. If you absolutely had to do it but you weren't exploiting animals in any other area of your life. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it's just my point with the medication. It's
Yeah.
it's harder, like with cod liver oil, with like tablets, with that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
in
but
it.
with cod liver oil, for example, there are alternatives, there are plant-based alternatives. But
Yeah,
if
that's
there's
just like an example, like
yeah.
medication that I have to take to live, which I'm not going to say.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But like stuff to live, I need that.
Yeah, and you would
stuff.
still be able to be vegan if you even if you were doing that.
But how's that vegan if I'm still eating meat?
Because it's a mindset. It's not a diet. Do you agree? Do you agree that it's not a diet? Do you understand? Do you know what veganism is? Okay, let me just ask you one more question. Do you know the definition?
I know what it is.
Go on then. Tell me the definition.
Giving you the clue.
Tell me the definition of what veganism is.
It's why you don't eat meat to like save the planet.
That's what
I'm just telling you the answer.
What does your sign say?
it says. Animal abuse should be legal. It's just to get people's attention. To instigate conversations, yeah, because no one would come up to me if I just stood with a sign saying everyone should live vegan. Like that doesn't work. So going back to it, it's not about 8 months properly. So I've been on a plant-based diet for about 6 years, but I didn't understand what veganism was. So I was still buying leather. I still bought my dog from a breeder.
Like, leather's part of it.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say to you. Most people think that it's just about meat or just a diet. It's the stance that says humans should not exploit other animals. So that includes food, clothes, shoes, entertainment, testing, cosmetics, all of labour. Like, so when we horrifically use donkeys, for example, when we don't need to, or we get like horse and carriage, people pulling, horses pulling big, like,
You get like horse riding and all of that stuff.
horse riding is a really tricky one. Like, I would say that horse riding, I don't agree with. I think that's still exploitation because it's a human benefiting from the animal.
Yeah, but also some animals could get really ill from not being ridden because they could get overweight, they could have grass, get lemonitis, they could die without.
So if that's the actual case, then yes, they should be ridden. But if they can still get exercise without being ridden,
They can get exercise, but it's eating grass and they need medication. Just having a horse itself, you get the vet treatment, they wouldn't.
yeah. So you could still have a horse, and for example, like rescue horses. But buying a horse from a breeder is not okay because why would I want to exploit a mother horse's womb for my own benefit? Like, you don't buy and sell humans, so you shouldn't buy and sell other animals.
But
So that's why I'm saying, going back to the medication thing, if you had to take some medication that included some kind of animal products, you could still have the mindset that animals are not yours to exploit and not exploit them in any other area of your life. So you could be on a plant-based diet, you could not buy leather, you cannot have animals entertain you. Like, for example, horse racing is fucking horrific. Do you know how many horses die per year from horse racing?
I don't get that bit. That's a bit.
who's touching my bum?
So that's what I mean. If you're against that, then I believe deep down I think the majority of us are vegan, but we're brainwashed to believe that it's normal and necessary to harm animals. So if you disagree with horse racing, for example, I believe that you're vegan deep down because you have that connection with the animals. You've just been told that it's necessary to exploit them for other things. Would you agree?
Are you vegan?
Yeah, I'm vegan.
Wait,
Yeah.
why? Well, how else
No
would you
worries.
get like your dog?
So you would adopt. There's loads of dogs up for adoption. Do you know how many dogs get euthanized per year because people think that put down? So many dogs get euthanized, put down, because we breed other dogs into existence for our purpose, and then so many families give them up, and then other animals in other parts of the world get put down because we think that we have the right to exploit a mother dog's womb.
Yeah, but it's not always like other dogs rape other dogs. Like
different animals.
What?
Do you know what you're talking about? Danny, you
Right.
want to talk? Go on.
It was really, yeah, go on.
I was just gonna ask about like I'm not really like educated enough on the subject, but like
But would you just, you can ask me, could you just do me a favour? Everything that we've talked about today, go and do your own research.
Yeah, I will.
Because I can tell that you're open-minded and you're actually taking, because I've spoken to kids like your age before and they just completely are just arrogant and just don't take it in. But I can tell that you're actually open to it. So everything that we've spoken about today, do your own research and go and look into it. What were you going to say?
Sorry. Like the production of like vegan-based product foods, so like like corn sausages and stuff.
What?
Corn sausages, like the company.
Corn, yeah,
Yeah.
so just be careful because not all corn is vegan.
Oh,
But
yeah.
some of it includes. Do you know what happens to all male chicks in the egg industry, by the way? They're macerated alive within their first 24 hours of life.
I do not know what my thread is.
So they put in a blender, they ground up alive because they can't produce eggs. It's fucking horrific. This is what, and it's all hidden from us as well.
Yeah. Sorry, I have to go now.
That's alright, no worries.
The production of those kinds of foods, I've heard they're like bad for the environment, like somehow.
But again, that's bullshit. Animal agriculture is one of the leading causes of greenhouse gases and the water use as well. Yeah, exactly, and the water use as well. Think about how much water you have to give to a cow and food that we could be eating. You give that all to the cow or the chicken or the pig. These lies and this propaganda, the animal agriculture industry spread. I understand that you work on a dairy farm, so you might not, even if
Yeah,
like,
it's not propaganda
that's-
for me. Like, I see it on the day-to-day.
Yeah, but that's a very, very small minority, and they are still slaves. Those animals are still slaves. They're bred into existence with the sole purpose of somebody taking their milk to sell it. Would you not agree that's slavery?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
wouldn't you say that doesn't that make people humans?
In what way?
Because like as we're born, we're forced into school and we're forced to become workers. But like, isn't that just the same for cows? Like the cows on our dairy farm live like an amazing life. They have all the food they could ever want, huge amounts.
But
of
they're
land.
exploited. They're used for their money, for their milk. So you're telling me that you see it the same as a human having a baby and putting them in school. You see that the same as if you were to breed a baby into existence and then when she gets old enough, get someone to go and have sex with her, then when she's had her baby after 9 months, start taking her milk and selling it. You would say it's exactly the same as the other child who's just been put into school. It's the same type of exploitation.
But they grow up with different
But you're
races.
because you're saying that humans get exploited by being born and get put into school.
Yeah, but for cows, I guess like their whole you say their whole existence is to like if they're on dairy farms to produce milk for humans. Then wouldn't it be the same for humans? So we're born as well. The whole point is to work.
But that's why I just gave you that example of doing that to a human wouldn't be okay. So why is it okay to do it as a cow to a cow?
Creatures.
But my point
But
is
that's
that it
why
does
I'm
happen.
trying to get people to be consistent because I don't believe that we should be.
They have like different DNA. Like they have others like a lot. Of
I
them,
know
and
that
they're,
they
like,
look different, but what's the moral difference between a human and another animal? So,
Well,
for
if they're
example, a
treated
cow.
right during the dairy industry, do you think that's more
Yeah,
acceptable?
but they're still slaves. I don't really care how you treat a slave. It's still bad. If you breed somebody into existence for the sole purpose of taking their milk, that is slavery and exploitation. It doesn't matter if you treat them well or not. Like if I bred my cousin's partner's son, for example, just giving a random example, bred him into existence for the sole purpose of using him for labour or anything for my benefit where I make money from him, if I got him to dance for people and made money for him, that would be exploitation. If I gave him loads of really good food and he had a really nice life, it would still be classed as exploitation, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
would you say animals should be treated?
I guess
then?
that is.
I don't think that we should exploit them. We shouldn't breed them into existence
Say
to
if we just
exploit
completely
them.
left them, we just left them in what? Do you
Yeah.
just run around in fields or?
So
how
what
do you
will
think-
happen, because the world is slowly going vegan, like when you guys are my age, there's going to be a lot more vegans in the world, I promise you that. So when it eventually happens, however amount of time it happens, there's going to be a lot of obviously animals, like farmed animals, who need to go to sanctuaries. But then eventually, the breeding will decrease. We'll stop breeding as many into existence. Lots of animals will have to go to sanctuaries. So obviously there are quite a few sanctuaries already where farmed animals are rescued from being murdered. So that'll start to increase, like the sanctuaries will start to increase, but also we won't be breeding 80 billion land animals and even more sea life into existence every year. So can you imagine if we weren't breeding that many animals in?
Yeah.
And then eventually they probably will go extinct, but it's still better for them to go extinct than to keep breeding them into existence just to exploit them. Would you not agree?
To some extent, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see your point of view. Yeah.
But if you were in their position,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
you probably wouldn't enjoy it either, would you?
No. Yeah.
Thank you for being open. Like, honestly, I really mean that because.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Would you guys be willing to watch the documentary that I told you about? Would you really? Can I give you a card that I've got?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
With it on there? Maybe you can like get together, watch it together, because it's not an easy watch, but it is like, I might not have my cards.
The thing
with
is,
me,
meat
actually.
for me is a big part of my life. Like a lot of everything, traditions, day-to-day life.
Yeah, and it used to be for me as well. It used to be for me. I know that it's hard to like change. Like as humans, it is hard for us to change. But when you understand what you're directly contributing to have happen to animals, and you know that there's an alternative, it's actually the easiest thing I've ever done. Like so many people say, oh, it's really hard to be vegan. But when you understand what animals are going through on your behalf, it's the easiest thing I've ever done. Yeah, so there's a documentary on there. There's one on Prime called Pignorant that's by a really amazing guy called Joey Carbstrong, and then Dominion on YouTube, that one there.
Alright, thank
So
you.
watch Dominion, and then if you did decide that you wanted to try and be vegan, which I would plead you to, because you save so many animals, it's like 200 animals a year when you're living vegan. There's a challenge on there called Challenge 22 at the top that helps you live vegan in 22 days. So it gives you all of the nutrition advice and tips and things like that. But last question, you sort of answered it before. What is the official definition of veganism?
Not supporting the exploitation.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the stance that says humans should not exploit other animals, which I truly believe that you guys believe, and most people do believe.
I guess you
But-
could say we are vegans, but we don't support vegan diet.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm a vegan,
But do you buy leather? You might buy leather and not even know that that's made out of someone's
I don't
skin.
eat
Do you know, I've actually been to a slaughterhouse myself in Bodmin. It was the worst day of my life. It was the worst day of my life, but nothing compared to what those animals went through. I could hear them screaming for their lives, and I was stood outside where they go to be killed.
and they hang them up.
Thing is,
They were screaming for their lives. They were looking into my eyes, asking for me to save them, and I couldn't do it. Like, I'm almost starting to cry now because it was absolutely horrific. They were looking at me, asking me to save them, and I couldn't do anything. The trucks were lined up outside. The cows, like some of them had been prodded, some of them were like bleeding, some of them were so skinny. But that isn't even the point. Like, even if they were healthy, it's still not okay. And to see them in their last moments and they were asking for me to save them and I couldn't, it is absolutely horrific. And we saw all of their skin piled up in the warehouse. They opened the warehouse door and all of their skin, we'd just seen them half an hour before going in, looking at us, having, an experience of the world just like us. And then half an hour later, we saw all of their skin piled up in this warehouse. Can you imagine if you had the option, which you do, to not contribute towards that? Why would you not avoid it?
Before I go, because I really need to go.
That's
But,
fine.
Would you prefer organic farming, cows and pigs and things like that?
No, because
Prefer it over slaughter?
no, it's still exploitation. There is
Yeah,
no.
but it's better than them being like.
Yeah, but that's. Okay, and I understand why you're asking me, but that's just like you asking me, would I prefer human, like child slaves, for example, like child trafficking, would you prefer to give them really good meals whilst they're being trafficked, or would you prefer them to have shit meals whilst they're being trafficked? I would just say, if I had the option to say don't traffic them at all, I would say don't traffic them at all. Do you get what I mean? Like, there's no way I'm going to agree with any type of animal exploitation ever. So it doesn't matter if you say, so many people say to me all the time, but we give them a really nice life. And I'm like, I don't care. You shouldn't be exploiting them. Do you understand?
How would their life be different though if they weren't exploited, for example? Because say if they are farmed well, they have a lot of land, they have good meals, and they stay with their offspring for the entirety of their life. How would that be different to if they were wild?
Yeah, so I've been to India, for example, and I've seen wild cows. And in Hampshire, there's like wild horses roaming around. That's how these animals should be. The animals that we've bred into existence now, like the traditional, the pig that you know as a pig, a farmed pig, they are not natural. They have been artificially bred and bred, to be way bigger and way bigger, to get bigger quicker than they ever normally would. So that's why they also have so many health problems. Like, I've got a friend who volunteers at a sanctuary up north, and she knows a pig who just had to pass away, and he was had health problems because they are artificially bred when they're not supposed to be. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was your actual question, sorry?
How would it be different to if they were treated well? Because I know if they are treated well, I don't see. I mean, I know they're kind of confined, but other than that, say if you do treat them well, you don't take any milk, don't farm them for meat or anything, you just keep them in a field. How would that be different to them being wild? Because they'll have all the same benefits.
Yeah, so
it wouldn't be.
so you're not exploiting them full stop for anything. You're just letting them live their natural life.
I guess so.
That does happen in sanctuaries.
Okay.
So that's fine
what if
because
just,
they're not being
small amounts of
exploited.
milk, or
No, see, that's because it's the mindset
say if
that
they have excess, though, wouldn't it be better to use it than to let it go off?
That's having the mindset that they're yours, though. Not you personally, but I'm just saying in general. Because
but I'm sure
I
that
always
they'd like to contribute, like in some
Yeah,
way.
but would you say that about humans though? If they didn't have a choice, because she can't tell you whether it's okay to give you her milk. So for example, if there is a human who didn't speak your language and who wasn't as cognitively aware as you, just imagine that person, they couldn't tell you whether it was okay to take her milk or not. Would it be okay to continue taking it even though she's not giving you consent?
I suppose not, but if there is excess,
But you wouldn't. I always put myself into the animal, into the human's position. If I want to work out whether it's exploitation or not, or whether it's okay or not, I say, would I do it to a human? If it's a no, then it's also a no for the animal, because I don't see a moral difference between a human, because we're animals as well.
Yeah.
This is like, to me, it was like a fully waking up experience, because we discriminate against other species of animals just because of the way that they look. When we are we are animals as well. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you agree that we shouldn't discriminate against other animals because of the way that they look?
Yeah.
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 So again, you are vegan deep down. It's just about connecting all the dots and putting all this together and being intelligent and being able to critically think enough to go, okay, I'm going to exclude myself from that situation. I don't need to do it, so I'm not going to contribute towards that horrific exploitation anymore.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like there's a bit of a resistance.
Yeah, I know.
still.
I just feel like it would be too hard for me, and I can't really see myself doing it. But I completely understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
And, like what you're saying.
Will you promise me that you'll watch that
Yeah.
documentary? Shake my hand on it.
Yeah, kind of.
Promise you'll watch Dominion.
Yeah.
And your friend, what's your friend called?
Danny.
Danny. Shake my hand and promise me that you'll watch Dominion.
What's it about?
Dominion, the documentary. Promise all the way through. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours long. You have to watch it. Are you going to watch it as well?
Yeah, it seems interesting.
Okay. Shake my hand. Okay, I'll that's enough for me, because I think that that'll wake things up for you completely, and then you'll look back at this conversation. I hope that you look back on this conversation and say, maybe I understood the majority of the questions that she was asking me. Maybe I understand now. Yeah.
It's like,
Thank
I
you.
understand where
Okay.
you're
Thank you.
Alright, have a good day, man.
I've got a
Thank you.
of all the people like going, all the animals going through and stuff.
feel like you can't, once you start eating it, you can't stop eating it. But then, like, obviously you went to the slaughterhouse and like seen all of it in real life.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you put through that.
Yeah, but again, I don't see them as it. Like when you say eating it, I see that as eating their body parts because I don't differentiate between a human because we're animals. Do you agree that we're animals? And it's just they're just another species. Like so just the same way as like I don't see the difference between like a Spanish person and an English person. Yeah, exactly. We just look different and sound different. I don't see the difference between any other animal morally. Like there's no, obviously we all look more similar to each other because we're the same species. But in all of the ways that it matters, so morally, other animals are the same as us. Would you agree?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. But then animals are like their own different people because obviously they can't speak about what they're going through.
Yeah.
And if they did, they would like not go through it. And like understand it's much. They don't understand what's going on. They're just
Exactly, so it's even more unfair because they don't have the option. Okay, I'm going to finish videoing now because I need to go back and walk my beautiful doggies. But promise me that you'll watch Dominion. Shake me. Shake on it. Promise. They've got a card. You can also write it in your phone. It's called Dominion. Yeah? Will you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks everyone for being here. I've had at least 3 kids saying that they're going to watch Dominion, so I had one guy to start with who is completely not willing to be open-minded. He said that he'd already been vegan for 2 years, and I said to him, I don't believe that you are actually vegan because you can't go back to exploiting animals once you've fully connected with them. Thank you, Chris, for being here. Thanks to all the activists for being here as well. And if there's any trolls, then thank you for being here and helping with the algorithm. Lots of love.